Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing one of the brightest stars suddenly become 3 times brighter than usual. That's exactly what some astronomers are claiming has happened to one of the most famous stars in our galaxy. Betelgeuse, the red giant that's been fascinating scientists for decades, might be giving us the show of a lifetime. But is this giant star really about to explode, or is something else going on? Stay with me because what we're about to discover might change everything we thought we knew about this cosmic monster. Let me tell you a story that sounds like science fiction but is happening right above our heads. Every night when you look up at the constellation Orion, you can see a reddish star that sits on the hunter's shoulder. That star is Betelgeuse, and it's not just any ordinary star. This thing is absolutely massive, so big that if you put it where our sun is, it would swallow up Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and probably Jupiter too. We're talking about a star that's about 700 times bigger than our sun. But here's where things get really interesting. Betelgeuse has been acting weird lately, and the James Webb Space Telescope has been watching its every move with eyes sharper than anything we've ever had before. Some reports are claiming that this giant star has suddenly become 250% brighter than normal. That means it's not just glowing a little more, it's absolutely blazing across the sky like a cosmic lighthouse that someone just cranked up to maximum power. Now, before we dive deeper into what this might mean, let me paint you a picture of just how incredible Betelgeuse really is. This star is what scientists call a red supergiant, and it's one of the largest stars we know about in our entire galaxy. When I say large, I mean mind-bogglingly huge. If you could somehow travel there in a spaceship, it would take you months just to fly from one side to the other, even if you were going faster than anything humans have ever built. Betelgeuse is also relatively close to us in cosmic terms. It's about 650 light-years away, which means the light we see from it today actually left the star during the time when people in Europe were building the first great cathedrals. That's pretty wild when you think about it. The photons hitting your eyes right now have been traveling through space for longer than any country on Earth has existed. But distance isn't the only thing that makes Betelgeuse special. This star has been known to change its brightness regularly, kind of like a giant cosmic heartbeat. Sometimes it gets brighter, sometimes it gets dimmer, and astronomers have been tracking these changes for many years. Usually, these changes happen slowly over months or even years. The star might get a little brighter in winter and then dim down again in summer, but nothing too dramatic. That's why these new claims about a sudden 250% brightness increase are so shocking. If this is really happening, it would be like watching someone's heartbeat suddenly start pounding 3 times faster than normal. It would be a sign that something major is happening inside the star, something that could change everything. The James Webb Space Telescope, which is the most powerful space telescope humans have ever built, has been keeping a very close eye on Betelgeuse. This incredible machine can see things in space with such amazing detail that it's like having superhuman vision. It can detect heat, light, and other types of energy that our eyes can't even see, giving us a complete picture of what's happening with distant stars. What Webb has been seeing when it looks at Betelgeuse is absolutely fascinating. The telescope can actually watch the star's surface bubbling and churning like a pot of boiling water. Imagine looking at our sun, but instead of the relatively smooth surface we're used to, you see massive bubbles of hot gas rising and falling, each one bigger than our entire Earth. That's what's happening on Betelgeuse all the time, and Webb can watch it happen in real time. But here's where things get really exciting and maybe a little scary. Some scientists think that if Betelgeuse is really getting dramatically brighter, it might be a sign that the star is getting ready to explode. And when I say explode, I don't mean a little pop. I mean a supernova, one of the most violent and spectacular events in the entire universe. A supernova is what happens when a massive star like Betelgeuse runs out of fuel. For millions of years, the star has been burning hydrogen and other elements in its core, creating the energy that makes it shine. But eventually, even a giant star runs out of things to burn. When that happens, gravity takes over, and the entire star collapses in on itself in just a few seconds. Then, in one of the most incredible explosions imaginable, the star rebounds and throws most of its material out into space at speeds of thousands of miles per second. The explosion is so bright that a single supernova can outshine an entire galaxy containing billions of stars. If you were watching from a safe distance, it would look like someone just turned on the brightest flashlight in the universe. Now, if Betelgeuse were to go supernova, it would be absolutely amazing to watch from Earth. The star would become so bright that you could see it during the daytime. It would be like having a second sun in the sky, visible even when the real sun is shining. At night, it would be bright enough to read a book by its light alone. This cosmic light show would last for months, maybe even years, slowly fading as the explosion spreads out into space. But before you start worrying about whether this would be dangerous for Earth, let me put your mind at ease. Betelgeuse is far enough away that even if it explodes, it won't hurt us. The distance of 650 light-years is like a cosmic safety zone. We get to enjoy the most spectacular fireworks show in human history without any of the danger. However, we need to be careful about these claims of a sudden 250% brightness increase. While some sources are reporting this dramatic change, the most reliable scientific observations from NASA and major astronomy organizations are telling a different story. They're seeing the normal ups and downs that Betelgeuse is known for, but nothing quite as dramatic as some headlines suggest. In fact, one of the most exciting recent discoveries about Betelgeuse has nothing to do with it exploding. NASA scientists have recently proved true a century-old hypothesis that Betelgeuse is orbited by a very close companion star. This hidden partner, which some astronomers playfully call the Beetle body, has been affecting how we see Betelgeuse's light. For years. This companion star is much smaller than Betelgeuse, but it's been playing a big role in the brightness changes we observe. The unseen partner clears cosmic dust, altering how Betelgeuse's light reaches Earth and causing its irregular brightening. This discovery helps explain some of the mysterious dimming that happened a few years ago, when Betelgeuse lost about 60% of its brightness and had astronomers scratching their heads. The James Webb Telescope has been crucial in making these discoveries. Its incredibly sensitive instruments can detect tiny changes in heat and light that other telescopes might miss. It's like having a doctor's stethoscope for stars, able to listen to their cosmic heartbeats and detect when something unusual is happening. What Webb is really showing us is that Betelgeuse is a much more complex and dynamic star than we ever imagined. The star's surface is constantly changing, with massive convection currents carrying hot material up from the interior and cooler material sinking back down. These movements create the brightness variations we see, and they're happening on a scale that's almost impossible to comprehend. Think about it this way. Imagine if the entire surface of Earth was made of lava, and that lava was constantly bubbling and churning. Now imagine that instead of just our small planet, this was happening on something 700 times bigger than our sun. That's what's going on with Betelgeuse every single day, and the James Webb Telescope is giving us front-row seats to watch this incredible cosmic dance. The telescope has also been studying the material that Betelgeuse is constantly throwing off into space. This giant star is literally evaporating, losing mass equivalent to our entire Earth every few thousand years. This material forms beautiful, glowing clouds around the star, creating some of the most stunning images Webb has ever captured. These observations are helping scientists understand not just Betelgeuse, but how all massive stars live and die. The elements that make up our planet, our bodies, and everything around us were created inside stars like Betelgeuse. When these stars eventually explode, they scatter these elements across the galaxy, seeding space with the materials needed to form new stars, planets, and maybe even life. So while the claims about a 250% brightness increase might be exaggerated, the real story of Betelgeuse is even more fascinating. We're watching a star that's literally in the process of creating the building blocks of future worlds. Every bubble of gas rising to its surface, every pulse of light reaching our telescopes, is part of a cosmic story that connects us to the stars. The James Webb Telescope's observations of Betelgeuse are also helping us prepare for when the star does eventually explode. By studying how the star behaves now, scientists can better predict what will happen when it finally runs out of fuel. They can model the explosion, figure out how bright it will be, and even predict how long the light show will last. Current estimates suggest that Betelgeuse could explode anywhere from tomorrow to 100,000 years from now. In cosmic terms, that's basically any minute now. But don't hold your breath waiting for it. Stars operate on timescales that make human history look like a brief moment. What's really exciting is that if Betelgeuse does go supernova during our lifetimes, it will be the astronomical event of the millennium. No human in recorded history has ever seen a supernova this close and this bright. Ancient Chinese astronomers recorded seeing a supernova in 1054 AD, but even that was much farther away than Betelgeuse. The James Webb Telescope would have a perfect view of such an explosion, able to study the supernova in incredible detail and answer questions about stellar death that scientists have wondered about for decades. It would be like having a time machine, allowing us to watch the birth of a neutron star or black hole in real time. But even if Betelgeuse doesn't explode anytime soon, what we're learning from Webb's observations is revolutionizing our understanding of these massive stars. We're seeing that they're more active, more complex, and more beautiful than we ever imagined. Each observation reveals new details about how these cosmic giants work, bringing us closer to understanding our place in the universe. The technology behind these discoveries is just as amazing as the discoveries themselves. The James Webb Telescope had to be cooled down to incredibly low temperatures, colder than the depths of space, just so its sensitive instruments could detect the faint heat signals from distant stars. It's orbiting the Sun at a point where Earth's gravity and the Sun's gravity balance out, giving it a stable platform to observe the universe. Every image Webb takes of Betelgeuse requires hours of careful observation and processing. The telescope collects light across multiple wavelengths, building up a complete picture of what the star looks like in different types of energy. Computer programs then combine all this data to create the stunning images and detailed measurements that help scientists understand what's happening. This is the kind of science that pushes the boundaries of human knowledge and capability. We're using some of the most advanced technology ever created to study objects so massive and distant that they challenge our ability to even comprehend them. Yet somehow, through the magic of physics and engineering, we can sit here on Earth and watch the intimate details of a star's life playing out 650 light-years away. The story of Betelgeuse and the James Webb Telescope is really a story about human curiosity and our drive to understand the universe around us. Every time we point our telescopes at the sky, we're asking fundamental questions about existence, about how things work, and about where we came from. Whether or not Betelgeuse has actually increased in brightness by 250%, the star continues to be one of the most fascinating objects in our night sky. It represents the cosmic cycles that created the elements in our bodies, the eventual fate of all massive stars, and the incredible beauty and violence of the universe we live in. So the next time you're outside on a clear night, take a moment to look up at Orion and find that reddish star on the hunter's shoulder. Remember that you're looking at a giant ball of nuclear fire bigger than the orbit of Mars, a star that's been shining for millions of years and will eventually explode in one of the most spectacular displays the universe has to offer. And remember that right now, the James Webb Telescope is watching that star, collecting data that's helping us understand not just Betelgeuse, but the entire cosmos we're part of. We're living in an incredible time when we can study the universe in ways our ancestors could never have imagined, uncovering secrets that have been hidden in the stars for billions of years. The universe is vast, mysterious, and more amazing than we can fully comprehend. But with tools like the James Webb Telescope and our endless human curiosity, we're slowly but surely figuring out how it all works. And that's a pretty incredible thing to be part of. If this exploration of Betelgeuse and the James Webb Telescope has sparked your curiosity about the cosmos, then I've done my job. The universe is full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and every new observation brings us closer to understanding our place in this incredible cosmic story. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed learning about Betelgeuse, share it with anyone who loves astronomy, and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest discoveries from space. The universe is constantly surprising us, and I can't wait to share the next amazing discovery with you. Until then, keep looking up at the stars and wondering about the incredible mysteries they hold.